Okay. It's 7:01. Hello, everybody. How many we got? 7. Okay. So we have been talking about different things at the judge's corner. And I'm just trying to get everything set and make sure that is going. I wanted to tell everybody real quick about PSA. I don't know if you guys know that's coming up October 3rd through the 9th at Rapid City. That is in October 3rd through the 9th. I know Steve and I are going. A couple of older Nevada Camera Club members are going to be there. Gary Potts. I didn't know if anybody else was coming. If somebody else is going, let me know or let Steven know. It'd be great to get together while we're up there and do some of the stuff going on. Also, on Wednesday, September 22nd, I am doing a program for Canon and for BNC Camera. It's going to be abstract photography. I'm going to talk about some different things with abstract. One good reason I was doing that is because doing some of these judges' corners, I've gotten a lot of questions lately about abstract. What's abstract? What does abstract have to be? What's it have to look like? Do you have to know what it is? Questions like that. So I'm actually going to do the stations kind of like we've done at Nevada Camera Club before, with the different stations set up for everyone to kind of play with the little toys. And I'll have a little program before that. That is Wednesday, September 2nd from 6 to 7:30. September 22nd. Yeah, Wednesday, September 22nd. You're supposed to be registered. I don't know why, but if you go on BNC Camera, you can register for the classes there. This is free, so you don't have to pay anything. I think they just want to count and see how many people are there. Maybe it's a COVID thing. I don't know. If you don't want to go on there, just send me an email and I will send you the link to sign up. Say again. Oh, it's in the e-notice too. Steven said in the e-notice you have the link. So also Friday the 24th, which is a couple days after I do that program, you're going to have competition. And the challenge is sunset. And I believe you're supposed to enter by Monday the 20th. Okay, so if anybody read newsletter, I put a couple of images in the newsletter that I kind of wanted everyone to judge. So I know I'm actually going to go on here and see if I can see everybody for a minute. I don't know. Now I changed my whole thing and I can't see nobody. Okay, so I kind of want everybody to judge the programs or the programs. I want everybody to kind of judge the images. So if you turn your volume on for a few minutes and everyone's allowed to talk if you want. Thinking about the way we judge from 5 to 9. Okay, everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, so we're, instead of judging from 5 to 9, we're just going to judge from 1 to 5. 1 being the lowest, meaning 3 would be the lowest score you get. 5 being the highest, meaning 15 would be the highest you can get. I'm gonna do the first image, and I'm gonna do it kind of quick today because I want everyone to kind of think fast. And if you don't judge, it's okay. If you don't want to say anything, that's fine. But I'm just going to do it for about 5 seconds. I want you to look at it real quick, 5 seconds. I want you to give me a score, and then we'll talk about it for a minute without looking at it. So, okay, so if everybody's ready, I'm going to go to the first image, which is this one.
5.
Okay. I heard, okay, keep going. Anybody else? So I heard at least 3 5s. Did anybody say 4 or 3? Okay. Does anybody want to make a comment on the image?
I'll make a comment on the image.
Okay.
I find the image very striking. My vision is directed into the woman's lovely eyes. The chainmail helmet she has on is very striking. The one thing that distracted me a little bit is the way I'm seeing it, the very, very tip top of her head is cut off, and I would rather have the complete head.
Okay, that was good. Was there another comment?
I can't see the photo on my
Well,
end. So,
I took it off, so I only
Oh.
put it up for 5 seconds and then I took it down. Because
Well,
I
I
wanted
thought it
everyone to kind of envision and kind of see if they still had that vision of what they saw and try and talk about it without it being up there. So
Okay.
that was kind of the idea.
okay, I thought it was very striking. I thought it was very sharp. And I, like Linda, think that the eyes draw you in. I don't remember the head being cut off in my 5 seconds. But that doesn't bother me. I know you need the whole head for judging, but for fashion photography, you don't need the top of the head. So,
Okay, no, that was good. Okay, before we go on, we're gonna go to the next image. I'm gonna do the same thing, about 5 seconds, and we're gonna have everybody judge 1 to 5. Ready? Okay,
3,
3,
4,
4.
3,
Okay, so 3s and 4s. Did I hear a 5 or no?
nope.
Steven said 5. So I thought I heard 1. I just couldn't remember. Okay, so now same thing. Does anybody want to comment?
team blown out.
A little blown out?
I think that's probably because it's high key. I'm looking at it as being high key.
Okay.
Whether that's true or not, we'll find out.
If it was high key, I'd expect a little better detail even in high key.
Okay. Okay. Does anybody else want to say anything?
the
All right.
brightness of the picture bothered me a bit. And I
Okay.
think that was because of the shadow that was on the woman's chest. It just, the contrast there did not appeal to me personally.
Okay. So I'm going to pull them both up. And I think everybody's comments and scores and stuff were pretty right on. Both of these were just in PSA competition. The one on the right did score a 9, which was 3 3s. And the one on the left scored 3 5s, which is a perfect score. And looking back and seeing the same things, I agree. I think there's too much highlight on the right, on the image on the right on the head, and I don't like the shadow on the chest, which I think is coming from her hand. Also, her hand bothers me a little bit. Her fingers look kind of funny. But the one on the left, I love everything about it. The chainmail is off a little bit, and I would love to reshoot that, but I don't know if I can ever get her back in the studio because she's famous now and she won't talk to me. So that's one of those when the judge goes, you should reshoot this, and I'm like, really? But that's what both these did. So I just wanted to see how you guys were going to judge them and see how your comments were. I got no comments back at all from this particular competition. We just get the scores, but I wanted to share those with you guys. So, and sometimes judging is like that. It's really quick. You have like 5 seconds and then they're already putting the next picture up there. And then sometimes if you look at things like PPA will sit there and look at it for 10 minutes, and then 3 or 4 judges will argue about it and tell you what is so wrong with it or what might be right with it. And the score can actually change, go up or down at any time. Okay, cool. So that was fun. And
So was that one on the right high key or not?
well, they're both pretty much high key.
Okay.
The histogram is way to the right on both of these.
Okay.
and I kind of shoot a lot that way anyway. That's kind of my particular style is kind of on the high key, the bright side. Even if it's color, I still do the same thing. That's just kind of how I've always been, especially when I'm shooting females. The high key makes the skin a little bit softer already. There's less for me to touch up, and it also makes the eyes pop out. If you notice, the lighting on both these images is completely opposite. The night, the picture on the left, I have a big umbrella above her head, so you can see the highlights on top of her eyes and the shadows under her nose and under her lips. And if you look at the other image, we were using a wall to bounce the light to make it a soft fill light, but most of the light was coming from the ground. So if you look under her lip and under her nose, it is all lit up evenly with the rest of her face, which takes a lot of the depth away from her face. The night has more definition to her face, and the Asian girl doesn't. So that's just the difference in the lighting. Also, looking at her eyes, you can see the lights on the bottom. The highlights are on the bottom, where the night, the highlights are on the top.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Cool. Did anybody else have any comments about these? Get them out. Okay, so let's go to the submitted images. Okay. This is Manny Glacier. It scored a 24 in competition. Uh-oh, everybody there? My thing's making noises at me. I think a 24 is a pretty good score. For me, there's almost too much going on right in the middle. It's like all the weight of this image is completely in the center instead of having a little bit of more compositional feeling to the left or to the right. You do have the rocks at the bottom that give it, the rocks in the lake give it a little bit of bottom composition, and the sky gives it the top. But from left to right, you have the trees and then the mountain, the tall mountain in the back. They kind of conflict with each other, but they're kind of right on top of each other. The sky is pretty good. I think having the cloud right behind the tree is not helping. I think if the cloud was on that side, and that may be achieved by walking left or right. Again, of course, I don't know if there's a cliff or something you're going to fall off, but maybe if you had walked to the left or to the right, it would have given you a stronger composition, and that would have, 28 or 24 is a good score. It's 3/8, but that might have brought it up a little bit more.
I took a look at maybe cropping it in from the right, maybe 20% or so. Maybe that first little notch on the mountain peak. That way it draws your eye more to the tree with the mountain just behind it, as opposed to fighting your eye between the mountain peak and the tree.
Yes. And that might help a little bit too. And I'm kind of looking at what you're looking at. Oh, I did want to say something. On the images we're looking at tonight, there was a couple people that asked me to crop or to fix in Photoshop. I'm not going to do that tonight just because I didn't have time to get it done, but I'm going to save a couple of these for next month, and I will do that. I'll kind of go through and play with them. So that's I'm glad you said that, because that reminded me of that. Okay, next one is, if I can get this to go, what did I clicked out? Oh, I'm locked. Hey, is my screen sharing? You still see me? Yeah, okay. Okay, but how come I locked something? Oh, it just crashed, that's all. So let me start that again. Okay, there we go. Max. One of the comments for Max is, would like to see more of the dog. This scored a 24. I love the browns in the fur especially the contrast with the green in the background. I think that really makes the dog pop and stand out of the background. I like the action with the water flying and him trying to bite whether it's a stream of water or just a splash, he's trying to bite it. And I think that's the excitement. That's what makes this a fun, happy image. I agree with cutting the legs off. It's, not to make fun of this image, but I almost see like a little T-Rex with the two arms, and we know the dog doesn't look that way. So, that kind of makes the dog look kind of funny. And again, I wasn't trying to make fun of anybody's image, just kind of in my mind, I'm like, that's what I see. It looks kind of odd. And I complain about that a lot when I see people where we've cut the limbs off the people at the hands or at the elbows. It always looks kind of funny. And oddly enough, I think we've done the same thing with the dog here. So maybe in this one, just cropping right above his arms, where I know you don't see as much action that way and you can't see as much movement where he's jumping, but it might help just that profile of the dog a little bit more. But once again, 24 is a good score. That's 3/8. So I think you did pretty good. I like the action. So all the action, the eye looks like it's pretty sharp there. A little bit of blur with the water. I like that a lot. Anybody else want to say anything about this one or questions? Okay, next one. We are going, there we go. So this is vegetable stand. Comments are some hot spots, and this scored a 23. I think actually is Ed Stiglitz on here tonight? I believe Ed Stiglitz showed me this image because he was one of the judges last month and we were kind of talking about it already. I felt this should have been cropped in just a little bit. And to reiterate, I believe Ed was one of the higher scores because he really liked this. And I think that's what he was explaining. There was something else I think that might have scored higher, but he liked this better. My opinion is I just think it should be cropped a little bit around all four edges and brought in a little bit. I'd like to get rid of the white sign at the bottom and maybe even a little bit of the chili peppers on the top, because I think the chili peppers are kind of taking me away. And if we come in just a little bit, like I like the black signs with the red with the red edging. So if we come to that one on the left and this one on the right and just come up above that white sign, I think that makes it more desirable for me. I think it really brings me more into the vegetable palette per se. I did feel that this was a little bit yellow. One way you can check, and it's not foolproof, but if you bring up like levels or something like that and you use the black clicker to click in the black, or even the white clicker to click on something white, it'll show you, right? That won't actually correct all the colors completely, but it'll show you if it takes out some of the yellow that way. And then you can go back and just adjust it a little bit. But other than that, I think it's a good, it's a good still life, good vegetables, good vegetable palette. Anybody else have any questions on the vegetable stand or comments? Do we have any other judges from last?
Right on.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I think your comment on the peppers, cropping it from the top down a ways, because the brain wants to figure out what's in the picture. So the main vegetable show up very clearly, but then the brain, what are those? Oh, those are peppers. Takes that extra moment.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. All right. Let's go on to this next one. Should be this one. And while you look at that, I got to look to see where my comments are. Okay, the line, this line was in Nature Wildlife. It received 3/8. And no comments. We don't remember the comments on there. So I think this is a fun image. I I mean, obviously the tongue and the mouth and that yawn is what kind of grabs your attention, and you can almost feel that. I almost want to yawn looking at him. They say yawns are contagious, so I got to take a deep breath so I don't yawn while I'm looking at him. But I think it's really hard. Some of these things, somebody's writing on there. I think sometimes images, when we see them, it's like it feels really good for us because we captured it and we got it, but that doesn't necessarily make it a good competition image or a gallery image. And it's like, it's a bummer that all this grass is in front, and I know there's nothing you can do about that. You can't go trim the things and have him yawn again, but I think 3/8 for the action of it is a really good image. To make it better, the only thing I can say is if we could get rid of the grass, I think it would be a lot better. But that's just something that can't happen. And when you're shooting wildlife or animals, something like this, you just kind of have to play off of whatever they are doing, whatever is happening in their terrain, and just be ready and waiting. Does anybody have any comments on the lion?
Part of the reason I was writing on the screen was because I was holding up a piece of paper to try and cut out a little bit of the grass on the left. And for me, I felt that improved it, because I didn't find the grass on the left contributes to the image. And if we just crop it in a little bit from that direction, it really focuses it on that big yawn.
Right.
If the eye were open, does that make it a better image as well?
I think it might. Once again, animals are really hard, especially wildlife like this. If the eyes were open a little bit more, that yawn might not be as big, or the tongue might not stick out as far. What I was just saying is maybe if we had a little more depth of field, and the background was a little bit more blurred than it is, it might have helped. But once again, it might not. You might have lost some of the focus from the nose to the hair. And that's one thing I like about it, is all that focus throughout the face and all the fur. So and that's what I'm saying. This is a great image, but because it's a great image does not necessarily mean it's going to do good in a competition setting. Here I don't think 3/8 is bad at all. I think that's great. It's just sometimes you can't ask for more than what you have. And trust me, nobody knows that more than me, because I'm trying to shoot for, magazine covers when I shoot NASCAR all the time. And I think, oh my God, I got the best shot here. And they pick something else that doesn't even, well, here's a good example. I've been shooting out the AAA games for the last couple of sessions. And they called me the other day and they wanted pictures of Chris Davis, because he was going to make he was the player of the week. And they said, do you have any good action shots? So I took the time, I edited like 4 or 5 of the, swinging. I got one, he's hitting the ball's on the bat. I got one where he's running. I thought they were all great. And they end up picking a picture that somebody took of him standing there with the bat on his shoulder. And I'm like, what? There's no action in that. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is because even sometimes when you're entering a competition and you kind of know what they want, somebody changes their mind and it doesn't work out that way. So I know, getting a picture published is totally different than somebody judging an image. And I'm trying to help understand all the judging is what we're doing here. But that can happen. It's same thing as you put an image in and someone says, hey, crop this, crop that. I think it'll do better. And then you crop here and crop there and you put it back in, but then you get 3 totally different judges and you end up with the same score, or God forbid you end up with a lower score, because I know how aggravating that can be. Okay, so where were we? This is the lion. Let's go to the next one. This is the people category. The title is Jet Lagged. The comment was in essence, sorry. I don't see anything that resembles the airport. Therefore, it was given a 7. The only other picture, okay, so I'm going to read all this. So the only other picture in the same category received the same score, 887. This is the people category. The comment about the other one was that it was a good image, but the man in the truck were minor parts of the photo. So I think what they're trying to say is the man being a minor part of the photo doesn't make it a people category, and probably in the wrong category. And it was given a higher ribbon. So same score, different image, probably doesn't belong in the people category. This one being in the people category. Why did the other one get the higher ribbon?
Impact.
I ask myself the same question all the time. Impact, yes. This being jet lagged, I mean, I actually remember this image. I think this is like 3 or 4 months ago. I remember this image. I do not remember the other one because I didn't judge this category. And unfortunately for the, well, I should say fortunately for the maker, is probably a good thing because I probably would have judged this down a little bit more as well. I don't think there's a lot of interest. I understand the jet lag part of it, but I might not understand that without the title. So we're trying to use a title to describe the image. And I don't think there's a lot of interest in here. I get that it's kind of a documentary because the guy's sleeping and being jet lagged, he fell asleep just sitting here in this lobby area. But that's, again, that's only my opinion. 887 I think is pretty good. Because I would almost kind of say this is maybe about an average pitcher, which would have been 3 7s. I don't think 3 7s are bad because I think that's an average pitcher. And that's where most of us are, even me, all the time. I'm shooting average and I'm struggling to shoot above average with everything I'm doing. So that's why when I do shoot pitchers, I shoot 1,000 bad ones trying to get one good one. But anybody else want to talk about this?
Another thought on this one, I almost, in my vision, I see his shoes as being crisper in the image than the face or even the lamp. I'm just trying to decide exactly where the true focus was.
Yeah. And I think it's yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm looking at the shoes too. So yeah, and Steven didn't like him cut off, and I was kind of mixed between that as well with the feet being cut off. But I think I understand what you're doing here, and I may have taken this same picture. Once again, this would be one of those pictures where if I took it, I probably wouldn't put it in competition because I don't think it's strong enough to hold a good score. And most of the time, we're putting things in competition. Not me all the time. Sometimes I do this on purpose, but most of the time we're putting things into good scores or to to advance. And I don't think this was something that would advance your score or your portfolio.
If we look at the face as potentially sharp, what if we retitled it Out of It? So that then looking at the face a little bit gone, the guy's out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, people, I'm not saying this is in the wrong category because I think that's probably a good category. I think it could also be a documentary. Documentary is almost kind of a more bland thing. People, and this is only my opinion, people, I want to see a little bit more action within the image or more story. And and I don't want to take away because this does have story, you know, especially with the title and even with your title, Ron, you know, it has out of it, it has a little bit of story with it. So it's not horrible. I don't want anyone to think that. I just don't think it's a really good, worthy competition image. Okay. Okay, next one. Okay, this was in Nature Wildlife Monochrome and received a 22. I believe the score was 877. Comment was something along the lines that the cheetah did not stand out from the grass and did not pop. I didn't understand what you did to make a pop. Okay, so this is one of the images. I'm going to see if I can do anything with this image next time. There's a couple of them I'm going to do. I don't think I have a problem with it blending, and I don't know if it's because it was a small image was sent to me, but it does look like it's not completely in focus, at least on my screen. And that was bothering more than whoever said it's not popping. I actually think it looks pretty good. I like the vignette around the corners. I think that helps it pop a little bit. The whole thing is flat because it's just a dead front lighting and the whole thing is flat. But I think that kind of adds the appeal to me. It's almost kind of, even though it's a monochrome, I have a pastel feel to the black and white. So it's a nice gray tone all the way across. So I actually like it. You know, the only thing is the face doesn't look as sharp, and that would be the only reason I would score it down a little bit. And that would be a big reason it wouldn't get a 9. Does anybody else want to say something? Especially on focus. Does anybody else see more focus than I see on the face? Ooh, we're up to 11. Okay, we are going to go to the next one. Okay. Here is a photo that I entered that did not make the cut in the print competition. So I'm guessing it didn't get any ribbon at all in print competition. I'm guessing the annual competition, it doesn't say that. How could I have made it better? Well, once again, you're kind of stuck with that sky. So, and you know, that either overcast sky that's just blown out white, there's no interest in it. I think that kind of hurts you, especially since it's the brightest thing and almost one of the biggest things, you know, overpowering the boat. But this one here, I'm going to do real quick. Does anybody want to say anything about this before I change it? Anybody? We still have people there, right? Okay, I see 11 people there. Just want to make sure. Make sure I'm not talking to myself. Okay, so let's do this real quick. We're going to close that. I want to, hold on a sec, let's go. I want to open with, let's do that. Did anybody have any comments while this is opening? Or anybody want to say anything? So what I would think about this, what am I on? What am I on? Oh man. Oop, wrong one. Oh, I can't see all my. I can't get up to my toolbar because the toolbar on the other thing was open, so let me just for a minute. I'll go here. See, how do I move the toolbar? Oh, there it goes. I wasn't moving a minute ago. I wasn't grabbing a good spot. That's why. So even maybe a little bit more. I like this crop of this boat. Does anybody have any comments on this?
I like that crop as well.
I mean, I think it's fun. It's a reflection. It can be creative. You know, it could be a little bit of abstract. You know, I might do a little bit more with it as far as giving a little more contrast, making it pop a little bit more. But I think this is the best part of the whole image. The only problem with the boat is the sky, and there's too much stuff right behind the boat that's kind of competing with it back here. But you know, even maybe just a little bit more, so this is gone off the bottom. I was just trying to do a quick crop. So if we kind of pull that there. And I think this is a fun image right here. And I think this would score higher, you know, than what you started out with in the beginning.
I agree. I like it that way.
Cool. So that was all the images I had this week. I've got a couple ideas I'm going to do or this month rather. I have a couple ideas I'm going to do for next month. And hopefully we get a couple more entries, and then I'm going to redo a couple of these. Maybe I'll work on this one a little bit more, and we'll compare the beginning to the finished product and see what you guys think. So if there's no more questions, anybody before we go?
Thanks, Jerome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Jerome.
Okay,
Jerome.
Great.
we will see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.